This is my Fujifilm X106. It's an extremely popular camera and it was a bit difficult to get my hands on. A big part of that popularity was its predecessor, the X100V or X105, blowing up on social media. The reason that camera blew up on social media was the ability to customize Fujifilm simulations to create custom recipes. And that's what this whole video is about, showing you photos that I took using some of the most popular recipes that I found on the internet, so then you can decide which one suits your needs and your wants the most. I have a total of 7 recipes that I'll be showing you in this video, plus my edit to a raw image. So the recipes that I have Kodachrome 64, Kodak Portra 400, Kodak Portra 800, Pacific Blues, Riella Ace, 1976 Kodak, Kodak Trax 400, which is the only black and white recipe that I tested, and finally, my edited raw image. I found all of these recipes on Fuji X Weekly. It's a really popular website when it comes to user-generated and custom-made Fujifilm recipes. Now, I've never really been much of a JPEG shooter, as I personally like to have as much control as possible when it comes to editing a raw image in Lightroom, but if one of these recipes stands out and really catches my eye, I might continue to shoot with it going into the future. So, while this video is kind of a way for me to show you guys some of the most popular recipes that I found online, it's also a way for me to figure out which one of these I like the most and see if it fits somewhere into my workflow. So now that I've taken all of these photos and I've been showing you guys the results, I want to start giving you my thoughts. So as you can see from the samples, I went ahead and tested these in 2 different lighting conditions, one of them being an overcast situation and the other one being a very bright midday sunny situation. And the biggest question I have to ask for myself is, will I continue to shoot a JPEG and a RAW workflow? I think the answer is yes. I think the 2 simulations that most stood out to me was Portra 800 and sometimes Pacific Blues. Now, as much as I did like these, I don't think they're perfect, and I think in order for me to really start implementing them into my day-to-day photography workflow, I'm gonna have to tweak them. For example, I'd want to change the white balance to auto and then make the tint a little bit warmer. As you can see in this example right here, I shot this under a tungsten balanced lamp, and most of the recipes just look a little bit too warm in my opinion, and that's because most of them have a set white balance. For me personally, that's typically how I shoot with my raw images. I pretty much leave my camera at like 5600 Kelvin all the time, but if I do start shooting in a raw workflow, that is definitely something that I would change, just so I can get more consistent and better results if I do want to shoot with my camera outside or inside. So other than me changing the white balance, I would also want to tone down the amount of added grain. As you can see from the Portra 800 images, they're a little bit too grainy. I guess that's just me in my opinion. The grain settings are pushed all the way to the max, and I think it's just a little bit too distracting. So that's one thing that I would do. So now I want to talk about the recipes versus the way that I edited my raw images. I think, obviously looking at the images, I do think my raw images look better, and that's only because I was able to have a lot more control in Lightroom. And I do think that is to be expected, comparing a JPEG and an uncompressed raw image that has the ability to be tweaked, pretty much as much as I would want it to be tweaked. But overall, I do think the JPEG plus raw workflow is something that I would like to continue doing going into the future. With the JPEG workflow, I can very easily connect my phone to the camera and just, bring over some JPEGs quickly. And I do think they look more than good enough to pass. Also, one side note, the first time I actually shot with the X106, I accidentally was shooting it in JPEG mode. The person I got this camera from, she was shooting it in some random film simulation. I can't remember which one it was. I guess I just assumed that it was shooting in RAW. It wasn't. So I shot a bunch of images. They turned out to all be JPEGs. And I still brought them into Lightroom and still applied some of my edits to them. And and they look honestly really, really great. So will I continue shooting JPEG? Pretty sure I've already answered that question, but I'd say going into the future with just a couple tweaks to some of these recipes, I will 100% continue shooting with JPEGs, going into the future. So now if you are someone who's interested in checking out these recipes, I'll leave all the links necessary to Fuji X Weekly's website so you can check out these recipes and the other ones that they have on the website on your own. So what was your favorite recipe? I've already told you what mine was, so feel free to leave your answer in the comment section below. Also, if you're interested in learning more about this camera and seeing more photos that I have taken with this camera, I will be releasing a first impressions video coming out within the next few weeks. So if you're interested in seeing that, feel free to subscribe to the channel so you know when that comes out. Speaking of subscribing, I'm trying to get to 5,000 subs, so I would really appreciate it if you did subscribe to the channel. Side note, if you like this video and all the photos that you saw in this video and want to check out more of my work, I will leave my Instagram on the screen right now, as well as a link to my Instagram and my website in the description below. And I think on that note, I'm going to end the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.